I'm Tevin Valtinson, and this is my Giving Voice to Values case for Chapter 3 of the Accounting Ethics class for Dr. Christensen's Fall 2017 semester. And just to give a little bit of summary of which case I chose the Walmart inventory shrinkage case. And to summarize this case, there's a manager in Idaho named Shane O'Hara, and he's always tried to do the right thing. He's a veteran manager. He's been a manager at Walmart for a while, and they actually transfer him to another store because that store has been having a lot of issues with their shrinkage. Which shrinkage is basically the value of goods that are either stolen or otherwise lost. And so he's sent out there to try and solve this issue and try to figure out why this is happening and to prevent it from increasing. The industry average at this time was about 1% of sales, and these guys were much beyond that. I mean, the article the case even said that they were at 800,000 in 1 year, the year before Shane got there. And so he went and he started to implement some changes. For example, he hired an asset protection manager that basically analyzes or watches over the assets and the inventory to make sure and try to prevent some of that shrinkage from happening. But as the year ended of 2013, a lot of people had left, and some of them even high-level management, which is suspicious in itself, and some were hired, obviously, due to the situation. But he started to worry that the fraud was going to be nailed onto him because people were leaving, and he was kind of the only one of upper management that was being left. And he spoke to another manager in the area, and she had a similar situation and actually was able to see how the fraud was committed and how numbers were doctored. And she didn't tell anyone until she talked to him. So obviously she was fearful, and that was sort of the culture that shows an example of the culture at Walmart with management, that they weren't she did not feel comfortable and have the courage to give voice to her values and of knowing what was wrong. And so anyway, after the year, they went from 800,000 to 80,000, and he thought that was otodramatic. Something had obviously occurred, and he felt like the numbers had been doctored. And so to answer some of the questions of the case, first off, who are the stakeholders in this case, and what are the ethical issues? Well, the other employees that are in danger of losing their jobs are some of the stakeholders. And one of the issues is that the actual problem may not actually have been solved. It gives the impression that it had been fixed, but the change was way too dramatic. And so I guess Shane could have just went with that and hoped that whatever was really going on behind the scenes didn't come up. But like I said in the beginning, he has always done the right thing. So the next question is, what would you do next and why? I would continue to talk to some of the other managers like he did, the one from the other Idaho location, because he found out a lot. He didn't know that those things were going on, and he found out some of the process. I would do this so that you could get some research, some evidence to present it to the superiors instead of just bringing them a problem. I think it's a great idea to do your research and find your evidence and build your case. That way when you go to management, you can propose a solution to this issue. How should the organizational culture at Walmart influence your actions? Well, every company is different, but just because a culture is one way doesn't mean that it can't be changed and bettered. It can't be improved throughout years. And so Shane might be the first one to actually voice his concerns. And I think what he needs to do, what people might actually say to rationalize and justify what has been going on, is people are going to say, well, it's happening in other stores, other locations. And I feel like that happens in a big company. It's hard when they make a ton of money. That's the idea, so if they're losing money, it's like they're big enough that they can handle that. And so I think that's one thing that you run into, is this mentality that they can handle the losses. So I would sit down personally with each with each employee and try to find a solution and bring back the emotion to what's happening. They might not realize, they may become numb to the fact that what they're doing is unethical. And so this way, if you sit down and explain to them, get them to feel what's happening is wrong, it might change their mindset and want them to make some decisions. And then bring the research to the superiors instead of just trying to bring them the problems. I think that's the best way to approach the situation.